This is part three of today's tarot reading series. So the focus of this particular part is guidance from the higher self. So the guidance, the initial cards that I got were solitude and gentle guardian. So solitude is again talking about staying in our own energy in order to not just for the healing because of whatever happened in the past, but also to integrate any changes. Because there is a reason why things disintegrated or things had to fall apart, right? So there is a need to like look at it and and to fully understand why it had to happen and embrace that wisdom before moving forward. Because otherwise we would just keep rehashing, you know, why it happened and how it happened, um, and it will interfere with whatever we're trying to manifest in our life right now, right? And the way to do that is by gentle gardener. This card is a very nurturing card, so there is a transformation also which is happening. So you can see these little eggs, and there are these caterpillars turning into butterfly stage, and the grandmother like figure who is watching from above. So this is actually talking about the fact that this entire process, this disintegration and moving into something new, is actually part of a transformation which is happening internally within us, and this is um, actually being guided and protected and you know, looked upon by our ancestors. This grandmother figure, it screams ancestors. The other cards that I got were see beyond the past and service. So, see beyond the past again, like we talked about with the inner child, how the inner child is looking at the past and is and is kind of a little bit scared about the future, right? Wondering if the past would repeat or the past patterns would repeat. And that is why here there is a swan and who is looking at her reflection and not really seeing herself very clearly, right? And this is something which we all struggle with, at least I do. Because when we are moving through this healing journey, we are actually evolving pretty much every day, but definitely like month by month or year by year, right? Like we just whenever we move through certain soul lessons, we unlearn certain patterns and then we move forward. So I can give you an example from my life. Um, I used to have this pattern where I used to try to prove my worth to others. And this used to result in these running chasing dynamics where I would be like, no, I need if I can just show someone that I am worthy, I would be loved was the pattern of behavior. Until I realized one day I had this kind of like this sudden awakening, I guess, sudden insight that is this what I want? Like, do I really want a relationship where I'm constantly chasing after someone, trying to convince them about my worth? Is this relationship giving me peace? Is it giving me what I actually want? And I realized it doesn't. And that's when I had this insight that any relationship which is meant to be there for you, they would be there for you regardless. Like, you don't need to prove anything to anyone. They will see you for who you are because of who you are. And it didn't fully like result in negation, but it was just one pattern which got broken by that insight. So, and what I'm trying to say is that when we move through these unlearning process, where in this situation I learned that I don't need to. So we are actually elevating into a different version who has realized that we don't need to do this. So we don't repeat that pattern. We no longer chase after it. We no longer try to convince someone of our worth, right? And then what happens is that the kind of people that we attract into our life is going to be different from the people that we attracted in the past because we are no longer involved in the chasing. And it is really, and knowing that logically and knowing it from our heart are two different things. Because we may have been involved in these patterns for a very long time, like practically our entire life, right? So integrating it to really like know that yes, I have changed. Like I am actually different. Like if you look at the swan and the reflection are like miles apart, right? The swan is no longer the swan is actually a very beautiful black swan, but that's not how she sees herself. Because she's seeing herself probably through the eyes of others in the past, as well as the way that things have worked out, in the past. So the integration process is very necessary in order to redefine ourselves, redefine the way that we see ourselves as well. The last card is service. So service again. So there is a symbol of Caduceus, which is which is the wand from the U.S. Medical Corps, from the U.S. Army Medical Corps. So this is actually talking about being a healing presence to the world, and this dog is signifying loyalty and commitment. So it's talking about being a healer, putting forth, putting forth, helping other people, and helping them in a way that's helping them from the being very committed to the task. So that's what I'm looking for. Yeah, being very committed to helping others and healing the world. And this is actually going to help with the inner child healing as well as moving on from the past situations as well. Hope this helped. Thanks.